16,000 videos are uploaded to TikTok every single minute, which allows the platform to gain hundreds of millions of new users every single month. And with that amount of people, it's not a surprise that you can find some incredibly bad actors. And today, we're looking at some of those people who gained influence on the platform, but are secretly cold-blooded killers. Starting with a TikToker called Luna May. Her content wasn't anything crazy. In fact, it was your normal type of videos you would see on TikTok, dancing for her fans and following trends. This would allow her to get over 250,000 followers on the platform, and even an invitation to the Asian house, which if you don't know, was basically just a rip-off of the Bop house, except all the creators were of course Asian. And although her content may look innocent, she was hiding an incredibly dark secret that eventually would not only end her career, but would even cause the downfall of the Asian house altogether. This was because people found out that she was a murderer who stabbed her victim over 7 times. This would all start during June of 2022, where Luna, the TikToker I just introduced to you, was 16 years of age at the time. Details about the murder were very messy, since both the victim and perpetrator were underage at the time. According to police, the two didn't even know each other, but had gotten into an argument inside of a Walmart store, where the confrontation would continue into the parking lot near a bus stop. And since they were arguing, it was only a matter of time before the two girls would get into a physical altercation, where Luna, whose real name is actually Isabel Jackson, would charge this 14-year-old girl with a pocket knife, stabbing her 7 times in the chest. My baby didn't deserve this. She was only 14 years old. This is not real. I haven't even processed the fact that my child is dead. That is what the victim's mother would say to reporters after the incident. Luna would later be arrested for this, however the charges for the crime were never released. And when Luna May started to get popular on TikTok, it was only a matter of time before people would find out the insanely dark truth about her past.
Recently, some old news clips from 2022 started resurfacing regarding a case where a 16-year-old named Isabel Jackson stabbed a 14-year-old Malia Powell to death.
And it wouldn't be long until Luna would have to address her past. And she would, but in the worst way you can possibly imagine.
Hi guys, I wanted to let you guys all know I am aware of word that's going around right now about my name and my past, and I will be fully addressing the entire situation. Please just give me some time. This is reopening a huge part of my past right now that I was really hoping that I could move on from. But word's getting out, I'm hearing a lot of lies, and I wanted to let you guys know the full true story of what happened.
What could she possibly say to prove her innocence? No matter what you could say, the reality is that this 14-year-old girl is no longer with us because of this TikToker.
So I just want to start this video off by saying, obviously, my condolences to Malia and her family, and I'm so deeply sorry for what happened. I mean no ill will towards her or her family at all by making this video. I just wanted to get some facts straight, and I have all the legal court documents right here, and I would like to update you guys on the police investigation. And whoever was left at the scene lied to the police, and that's why the main news story that's going around right now is the wrong story. I also remember speaking about it on the podcast, and I don't know who edited it, but I'm not sure if they cut out these key points. I don't remember seeing it when I watched the podcast.
It was very clear that Luna not only is lying about the situation, but is trying to victimize herself in order to protect her platform. Like, I mean, I don't really gotta tell you that this is messed up. A girl's life is gone, and the first thing she cares about is people finding out. She treated the situation like it was some sort of drama, and it is very obvious that she hasn't learned her lesson. And the most messed up part of this all is the fact that the mother of the girl who passed away couldn't get any justice or closure on the situation, and was left seeing Luna get away with what she did.
All they got stolen from us, not just from me, her. It was stolen from her. This beautiful angel.
Luna would make a final post on the 15th of May 2025 talking about everything.
This is how I know you guys don't do any research at all, because here you guys are commenting 7 times isn't self-defense. I literally said I was blacked out. And I don't know if you guys know how a blackout works, but you literally cannot control what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing at all. You are blacked out. You are out of your own control. Being blacked out basically means that you're unconscious, and it can happen in a number of ways. You could be anxious, you could be afraid, and it could be a huge trauma response. And in that situation, yes, I was anxious and I was scared.
I mean, do I even have to play what she says next? She blames it on a blackout while laughing under her breath. It is actually disgusting how she treats this whole situation as if she didn't literally take somebody's life away. Unfortunately, she hasn't really faced any consequences, and in fact has moved on like nothing happened, promoting her OnlyFans to capitalize off of the situation, which takes us on to the next TikToker who became a cold-blooded killer. Online, he is known as Mr. Prada, boasting over 4.2 million TikTok followers. You would think he is just like any other creator, but obviously if he is in this video, things took a really dark turn. The start of Mr. Prada's career really wasn't anything special. He was mostly known for making videos like this that would catch the viewer's attention, not because they were anything crazy or impressive, but for the mannerisms of Mr. Prada himself and the way he acted. He would even make the occasional skit, something funny that he could post to his fans. But nothing really seemed off just yet. This would all change on the 24th of April 2024, where Mr. Prada would release a video showing off his new hairstyle.
Yo, oh my god, look like I got cancer. What the I look like a cancer patient. What the
Most people thought it was a joke at first, but certain viewers started to feel concerned for Mr. Prada and thought that something much darker might be going on. Not that people were predicting he would become this horrible person, but he just looked off and gave the vibe that he might not be doing well mentally. This would all be followed by dozens of videos with very concerning topics, with almost all of them being about a random boy that he seemed to be friends or much closer with that I'm assuming ended in a toxic way. Like this video with the text reading, "When I remember how I was crying on the phone with him and the fan in his room went quiet." Or this one that read, "Talking to the sweetest boy ever after being treated like shit for months is the most calming and revealing feeling ever." It was clear with these posts that Mr. Prada had been going through some sort of heartbreak, and based off his new physical appearance, it was obvious his mental health had spiraled. But one specific TikTok of his would stand out amongst the rest. This one that would read, "Practicing for my mugshot, cause this might be the year that someone gonna meet God if they piss me off too much." With his last video posted on the 10th of September 2024 being this. The TikTok seemed normal at first, but this would be the start of his downfall, not just on the platform, but in his personal life as well. This takes us to the 28th of September 2024. Mr. Prada would see his therapist, Dr. William Abraham, who was 69 years old at the time. But this wasn't just any old therapy session. Mr. Prada wanted to take out his anger once and for all. And on that very day, the therapist would go over to Mr. Prada's apartment, where he was never seen again. CCTV footage would show Mr. Prada later on in that day dragging a blue tarp with what seems to be a body stuffed inside. And within only a couple of days, the body would be found. The therapist had been beaten to death, and the body was dumped along a rural Louisiana highway. And this would prompt the police to start a murder investigation. However, Mr. Prada had already vanished, nowhere to be found. Where on October 1st, police would find him driving his therapist's car. Yeah, the same one he just took the life from. After they had found him, he was arrested on the spot, charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice. But as the police dug deeper, things only got worse for Mr. Prada, as they would find concrete evidence that Mr. Prada was behind this brutal beating. He has still been standing for trial for his actions, but fortunately in January of 2025, Mr. Prada's charges would be changed to first-degree murder, with prosecutors claiming that he had killed the therapist intentionally, then tried covering everything up. But I think the scariest part of all of this is that Mr. Prada showed no remorse on trial and didn't even care about what he had done, showing just how bad his mental health had gotten since that TikTok of him with a new shaved head and eyebrows, which concludes the tragic and dark story of Mr. Prada. But what happens when the TikTok killer that we are looking at next is still posting on the platform despite their disturbing past? This next story is about a user on TikTok who goes by Snow the Salt Queen. She had over 1.6 million followers on TikTok before it got taken down. And judging from their profile, you would think they were just another regular cosplayer. But little did anyone know, this cosplayer's obsessions would get the best of her and drove her to do something that ended with somebody's life ending. This all happened on January 17th of 2021 in Houston, Texas. Snow the Salt Queen, otherwise known as Mary Ann Oliver Snow or Yandere Freak, had been hanging out with friends, drinking and watching the TV series Gotham, where the TikToker would make a joke about a gun that somebody had used in the movie. But the thing is, she actually had the gun that she was joking about, given to her by her ex-boyfriend. She would continue joking about the weapon, not realizing that the gun was loaded, which takes us to a girl named Helen Hastings, who was hanging out with Yandere Freak at the time, and she would play into these jokes, saying, "Oh, shoot me." And as I said, they were drinking. One thing led to another, and Yandere Freak had pointed the gun at Helen and pressed the trigger, and obviously thinking that the gun was unloaded, she thought nothing would happen. But this is where tragedy struck. She had shot Helen in the chest, killing her in seconds, where she was later transported to hospital and placed on life support, but unfortunately couldn't make it. Yandere was arrested the next day and charged with manslaughter and was released on a $20,000 bond, where she, to this day, is posting on TikTok. It is a really sad story. It shows us 2 lives being ruined because of silly jokes played while drinking, which just goes to show why you should never play with guns, let alone when you are drunk, because you never know what could happen or go wrong. Which wraps up today's video on TikTokers who became cold-blooded killers.